So here is everything bad about D4. This could be interesting, so let's enjoy.
Nice, Isrin here with another video, and this is going to be a things I think Diablo could improve video, so this might come off as a
Okay,
little bit negative. For those wondering my rating
it's
of the game, I actually give
fine.
it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, which is very high for me. I
Fair.
rate Path of Exile as an 8, sometimes maybe a 9 out of 10. I think it's a really good base for a game and a great skeleton that Diablo can keep building on, and I'm really excited to see what they do with Seasons. But I wanted to make a video about all the things that I didn't like and things that I think they could improve, how they could change them, and why. Just really wanted to preface that because it might come off as a bit of a ranty video or a negative video because, well, you know, I'm not really going to be
Understandable.
focusing on the positives in this one because they don't need improvement. So, first one. Before this started, Diablo 4 didn't have a map overlay, and I thought I was going to hate that. I did. I really hate that. It's awful. And if you're watching streamers, you'll
True.
see the large
Admittedly, it's half true, I have to say. They have done a fantastic job at making it very intuitive. I am someone who played D2 constantly with the map overlay on, and I can play Diablo 3 now absolutely fine without that because it's something you learn to do. The maps are extremely intuitive, and you are very, very rarely, if at all, ever gonna get lost. So it's not actually that big of a deal. But it would be nice.
majority of them are opening the map every few seconds, and I very often see comments, people saying, oh my god, this looks awful, why is there no map overlay? It's great for the people that don't want to use it and really want to be immersed in the content, but this is a video game and a lot of us don't really care about being immersed, we just want good quality of life features. So having the
True.
option for a map overlay would be absolutely huge, and at least the majority of streamers I know all are kind of miserable about the fact that there is no map overlay. There's not really that much else to say about that, just please give us an overlay as an option. Not everybody has to use it, and the ones of us that do are spamming M right now.
Hmm.
Another thing that's interesting is that the mount speed is sort of feels a little bit like it's built around console because
Oh, it's
well, it depends
stupid.
where you have your
This
cursor.
is
So
big
the
true.
closer to your character you are, the slower it is. That means that if you have your character here, you're a lot slower than if you have your mouse all the way at the edge of the screen. I had not
This gets super annoying when you're trying to go down.
noticed that myself. So I've just been running at a slower speed than I could have been because I would have had my cursor here, which is slower than having it all the way at the edge.
I noticed
So
it
yeah, I had not
instantly.
really noticed that. That should probably be changed. I guess there could be like a walk key if you really want to role play walking through town like this. But yeah, I'd rather like holding shift or control or something would slow down your horse, and just always having run at max speed would probably be nicer. The world itself scaling up to level 95, I don't think is a good thing. I see a lot of benefit for why people want scaling, because then you can play with your low level friends on your high level character, and
Yeah.
they will be just as useful as you are. Maybe even stronger sometimes.
This is a no-win situation. There are very huge positives for scaling and very huge negatives for scaling at the same time. You know, scaling does grant the ability to use all the content, but I do want to be able and strong enough to just delete a wolf off the screen by looking in its general direction, not needing to hit it 3 times.
Because you actually are getting weaker every time you level. That is why I'm against scaling. I feel like leveling up in an ARPG should always, in every way, just be a pure benefit. Where if you're not getting an important node and you're not getting an important Paragon thing, you are actively getting weaker every level up here, and I don't think that's good. And obviously, if you're not getting gear upgrades. I don't personally think that's good. There might be people out there that do. Obviously, my way isn't necessarily
True.
the right way, but I do think the game would really, really benefit from limited scaling, because this means that if you, for example,
I will say this instantaneously: limited scaling cannot be fixed in Diablo in the current version of the game that there is. If you limited scaling, instantaneously the whole world literally falls apart. Because the thing about scaling is the fact that most people are not gonna get probably to 70, right? You know, that's just the reality. 95% of the player base is never gonna make it to level 80. It's just not happening. Okay, this is not the kind of game for that. So what do? Stop scaling at 55? Then people like Zazarian would just completely lose their minds because the game would be like at it would be pretty much at the end of the first day when they max out that they just do all the content instantaneously and nothing can even touch them, which would be super worse.
Example, say you have a level 100 character and you want to try a different build, you actually need to, on the build you're currently playing that already is strong, you need to farm up a whole new build with every piece of gear being strong enough to fight the new content, and
True.
then do a complete respec at once. You can't spec over with a few items because then you would be ridiculously weak compared to the new high level monsters you're farming.
We have
Because you
heard
can't
this,
go
yeah,
back
it's true.
down to lower levels and
And this is probably where Blizzard is telling you, yeah, you should just roll a new character technically for it. Which kind of makes sense, but no one really wants to do that now, do they?
still find relevant gear. If you went down to World Level 3, you're now finding sacred items instead of ancestral, and the elites are still as high level as you are. For example, if I go to World Tier 1 right now, I will still be fighting level 105
Jeez, so his clear speed is so better than my necro, but my feels so much more rewarding though.
elites. Another problem with the scaling, and I've made a separate video about this, is that the
We
dungeons go
watched
all
that
the way up
one.
to level 95, and if all you care about is levels, it invalidates the Nightmare Sigil system, and these are still good for glyphs, but you know, you could just level through these. The Lilith statues, I don't actually mind too much. I surprisingly enjoyed that.
I
They weren't too
haven't even
bad.
touched them yet.
As far as like farming for renown, I believe you only have to do the Lilith statues once ever for the stats. You will have to do them again if you want renown for
Hopefully.
them. But yeah, all my characters now are starting with 75 all stats. Yeah, running them was pretty fun. I am very happy that there are maps out there for the actual where they are, because some of them are, there's no chance in hell I would have found them. Some are like, you kind of see like, oh, there's a little crevice here, a crevice there. So you could
Yeah.
just run like there,
Every stronghold has a statue.
there, and you start gonna find them. But there's no way I would have found all of them by just playing the game. It's also kind of hard for me to see them. However, a really unenjoyable farm for me was the last renown. Some of the side quests were pretty cool, but some of them are crazy long. Sometimes you'll get one side quest which is do an emote for 20 renown. That's fine, right? It's whatever. But there are some where it'll be like a 20-minute side quest for 20 renown, and
Yeah, I'm currently doing the game. After finishing it, I'm not really doing anything. I'm just doing the blue quests because they take you kind of around all of the world. You find them, I think it's kind of enjoyable and it is a little bit rewarding. But some of them are so bad. First of all, for some stupid reason, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but have you noticed the fact that when a woman is talking, sometimes you can't skip the dialogue? But when a dude is talking, you can always skip the dialogues. That's so strange. That's so strange.
when you don't know which ones are good and which ones are bad, it can take a very long time. I found that farming these three were very easy. They were good and I enjoyed it. And,
Yep.
you know, a lot of it is just, yeah, do every dungeon. And that was pretty good. But the last one was okay. This one was very
Tedious.
punishing. This felt like a chore. It was not enjoyable. For those that have reached the final one, I would love to know sort of like a breakdown of how many people liked it and how many people didn't. From my chat, a lot of people were saying they really didn't.
Yeah, obviously, because the reward is 4 Paragon points, which is, by the way, a huge reward when you think about it. And, this is kind of a completionist thing. So, yeah, this is going to be the grindy, windy type of stuff.
And also doing the strongholds for Renown was very cool. I enjoyed that. And the Renown run wasn't that
Some
bad.
strongholds are kind of bad,
For items,
though.
I actually quite like the item system. I would love to see some sort of Val Orb like Path of Exile where you have like a big risk reward thing, maybe as a rare drop. And maybe some sort of divine system. Maybe having a boss that you can kill. I think Diablo 4 could really benefit from more endgame bosses. Lilith,
Yes.
I think, hasn't even been killed yet on hardcore. Maybe Woody has managed to kill her now. But either way, very hard fight. And I think having a few bosses like...
I don't... Dude, again, I have said this, that I would love bosses to be hard, but I know that they're not going to ever do it. And honestly, I wouldn't like that because I played Lost Ark, Not a single boss in the game has even relatively complicated mechanics in my from my point of view. None of them are even remotely hard. It's like it's the same as killing a basic mob. Honestly, this is how I see the difficulty currently in Diablo 4. That even the world bosses and whatnot don't have mechanics. They're just giant white mobs because it's also easy compared to something like if you're a Lost Ark player, and you actually do content there. Yeah. So, I know that's a pipe dream, and they should never, by the way, do it again. This is like probably what 0.1% of the player base wants. But they should definitely, at least, increase the endgame amount of activities.
That, like making Andariel have an endgame version, and maybe the
True.
fact that you could
That
then
would be
kill
cool.
Andariel and divine an item. So that would mean, the dexterity here would reroll between 40.
Andariel was, by the way, the only boss that I found difficult until the moment that I realized that, wait a minute, for some reason I have been constantly in the sandstorm that deals a lot of damage in that fight, and I didn't even know it, okay? I just thought, what, how, and I still won in the sandstorm, by the way, because she dealt no damage. It was just literally the sandstorm dealing all of the damage, and I did not know that I was in it, and I'm not supposed to be in it. I somehow completely skipped that part.
42 and 63, the ice shards would reroll between 3 and 4, and a lucky hit chance would be between 8.1, 16.5, etc. Similar to what we have in other
Those
games.
shards are
And
so
having the ability to do
busted.
that could be pretty cool. It doesn't necessarily need to happen either. There's a very good benefit by having to just keep farming new gear. So I'm actually pretty happy either way. That's just one idea for something that could be a cool boss reward. I would also like to see more unique items. I think the ones that are in are really cool right now. And even if there are shit tons of strong unique items, you definitely would still need to have
No,
legendary
yeah.
items. And you probably wouldn't be doing a full set of unique
Huh?
items, even if there were very many more. Some form of crafting as well would be really, really cool. I would love that. A recent
Yeah, better crafting would be better, obviously. A little bit less RNG, but some kind of risk reward for crafting would be good because PoE does that really well. There is very much to be gained in PoE crafting if you want to risk it, and when you are rewarded for that risk, well, you feel good for it.
for
It's
having
true.
white items, blue items, etc. And another thing that Diablo 4 needs, in my opinion, which will come over time, is just more things to do at the endgame. Right now,
Yep.
it is just running dungeons or nightmare sigils at the endgame. There's not that much else to do. The tree thing, the bounty stuff, didn't seem super worth doing. And the hell tides are actually quite nice. But
I don't
other
like
than that, it
Helltides,
needs a little
honestly.
bit more stuff to do at the endgame. And I think that'll come with time. So I'm not too worried about that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in Season 1.
Yeah.
Another thing that a lot of people have been remarking on is that the
But again, let's remember one thing. Most normal players, and that by the way probably excludes you. If you're watching a video like this, that means you are not an average player, most likely, at least on a lot of aspects, most likely. So, most average people are not gonna run into these problems at all, probably. Even when the first season starts, they're gonna start again. They're gonna have a good time, and that's great, and that's good. These are problems that people, very few people honestly will run into.
open world can feel a little empty and lifeless. I wish we had sort of some settings here. I wish
I
there was
like it.
a setting for people like me that don't want anyone else in their world.
I think they should make the events more dynamic. The red orange events that pop up. They're all like literally, yeah, stay in this circle and mobs spawn. Whoopty doopty. They should be. I think it would be cool if they added a little bit more dynamic things. For example, like running event. Travel from there to there in an X amount of time. Stuff like that. To make those events a little bit, more, just add more variety, okay?
World. I don't mind that it's open and lifeless, and I want to be the only person in my world. I don't want to wait on monsters respawning, etc. And for those that really want like more of a MMO feeling, maybe they should have access to that, where there are more people in the world and not just 10 or 12. Because in such large areas, you're never seeing anyone, and there are people that do want that MMO feeling where you are running into
I
people.
see people constantly. Huh.
For the story, I thought it was pretty good. I didn't care that much for the text-based story. I'm not a big fan of like reading and waiting for things to happen that are slowing me down. But what I do enjoy a lot is the cinematics and stuff, especially the cinematic when they go to hell that we had already seen before Diablo 4 came out, I almost called it Lilith 4 there. It's so weird that Diablo's not in the game to me, you know? But
Oh, he's gonna come after
that trailer, like,
Mephisto.
you know, we got an expansion to the trailer kind of thing, like more cinematic, and it was so cool. Especially the part where Inarius does like the wing spin. Very, very cool. I don't want to
Yeah,
spoil too
like
much
a
of what actually
Beyblade.
happens in the Hell trailer, but very cool story. I do.
I mean, what chances does Heaven honestly have if Inario's... This is a Fallen, by the way. This is the most basic of basic white weak mobs in the game, okay? The big bad Inarius can't even destroy a Fallen. Bruh.
Cool story. I do feel like Diablo 4 would have benefited more from having us actually have a choice, because Lilith, even especially at the end, seems like absolutely the good person in this, because she wants to pull humanity out of the eternal conflict. And by killing Lilith, all...
I honestly don't know the story. Let me explain how the story was for me. The actions you perform in the story are good. They're fine. The story lines are good. For example, Donan. You find this hero, and turns out, you know, there's a little bit of snazzy things going. You know, you travel with hell to them. There's this guy, there's that, and everything of that. The story is good, what happens. We go through a lot with a bunch of characters. We go there, we uncover stuff. Then we go to hell. Then we fight the big bad evil at the end, and all of these epic things, right? The story, what happens, is good. How it happens, what happens, is good. But the dialogues are so bad, in my honest opinion. The dialogues are absolutely unbearable. I don't know what's honestly happening in the story, because the only character I ever listened to was Mephisto. Mephisto was done right. But the other characters, I'm just spamming my keyboard or going away to the toilet while they're speaking, because it's just so unbelievably badly paced. But Mephisto was on point.
What we do is ensure that the eternal conflict keeps going, and we're immortal. Doesn't matter to the demons, doesn't matter to the angels. They just die and respawn, die and respawn. So, you know, that was a little odd. Lilith is definitely the good person here, and I think it would make a lot more sense for humanity to side with her and help her. The music, I wasn't a huge fan of, and what I mean by that is I like the music when it's playing, but it's mostly just ambiance. Like, I have personally been listening to the Darktide 40k Warhammer OST, and I've been having so much more fun killing enemies and stuff, especially when it syncs up with a really banger soundtrack. And I'm not really vibing with the ambience that much. I know a lot of people are saying they like it though, so it's not objectively bad. Boss
The
design
music's
is a bit of
okay.
a weird one. You have some that are really, really boring and recycled. Some of the
Every
dungeon bosses, like, you know, the
single
Den Mother
one.
and stuff like that, you'll see very often the same boss in multiple dungeons, and there's not that many, like, different ones there. So obviously that's a little boring, but then you have some really cool ones, like Andariel, Lilith, and a few of the dungeon bosses are quite unique and different. I really cannot wait for them to get more time to put out more things like Lilith.
They probably struggled so hard to make the interesting bosses like Lilith and Andariel, honestly, because Blizzard does not know how to do things like that. They have zero experience at creating interesting bosses like that. You know, they literally don't have, because World of Warcraft experience in creating bosses from a top-down perspective doesn't exactly work here.
More things like Andariel, make Uber versions of those. It's so cool. I love that. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do for boss fights, because
I like the fact that, by the way, we already know a couple of updates that are going to happen. For example, torches. Torches are definitely going to be a part of Diablo 4, no question about it. Some kind of charm slots could be a part of the game also. We have so many possibilities, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
it seems like they really do have some cool things up their sleeve there. A really bad thing about Diablo 4 is the UI. And I'm not
Stash
talking
is
about visually right now,
horrible.
because I don't really give two fucks about visual things like the text being bad or visuals being bad. That's not that important to me. What's really important to me is functionality. The fact that there's no search makes the entire thing feel like it's built for console. It's very, very frustrating. Like, the search is some sort of weird keyword thing, Why would I want to click on?
Dude, every class, does every class have like at least 5 or 6 end keystones or whatever these are called? Come on, necromancers have 4, and one of them is Vigor of Ratama, and that's literally just plus 10% HP. Oh, how we have been slighted, boys.
Keyword thing? Why would I want to click on keywords? I want to type in movement speed, strength, and see. Like, first off, I want to search my stash. We don't have that functionality at all. And there's so many like things in like the Paragon tree that I would like to search for, or even my own skill tree, and we just don't have that, and that is very, very frustrating. And it feels a little bit like some things have been super prioritized for PC, and some things have been super prioritized for console.
Yeah, it's strange.
And it ends up being
Definitely
really, really weird mix
strange.
match. Another thing as well, the fact that we can only have 4 stash tabs. I was playing a little bit with Woody yesterday, and his theory was that they're going to introduce more stash tabs as a reward for each season. So the more seasons you play, the more stash tabs you get. But I don't understand.
That's not happening. That is the most horrible riot in the streets thing I have ever heard.
Understand why they don't just gate this behind gold. They could easily have us have 20, 30, 40 stash tabs for people that want to like prepare things for multiple characters and they want to save up.
The more stash tabs you have, the more people are gonna want a search function, and Blizzard probably does not want to do that because that sounds hard.
Cool things, uniques, etc. to play the
Nice.
game long term. And it's just very weird having 4 stash tabs. I feel like pretty much most people are really struggling with that. And a lot of people have done similar things to old Diablo 2 where they're making a new character to be a mule and hold things like gems.
Classic.
Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, there's a Diablo 4 promo at the moment where you can gift 2 Twitch subs to streamers like myself as a way to support the channel, and you get a Mount MTX. So if you do want to
do
it's
that
greatly
if you
appreciated.
want.
Either way, thank you for watching.
In any
the video.
case, thank you for watching. Yes, also for me. This was Quizzer said thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.